Hey all, Joe here with All Funnies and Games, and today I'm going to walk you through my process for making maps. Hopefully this will help you out if you're writing in an invented world or wanting to pull together a world for tabletop gaming. I'll be tracing a map I've already made, and the colors are going to be pretty simple because 1. It makes the map easier to use in tabletop gaming as an easily read resource, and 2. I haven't practiced coloring pretty maps much. Sue me. Step 1 is drawing a nice crinkly coastline. Try to think of what a fractal looks like. The coast should look crinkly from 10 feet away and from 2 inches away. Basically, just make irregular big shapes made out of irregular little shapes. Deciding where to place the mountains will help create more visual interest. Remember that it's rare for a mountain range to come right up to the water's edge. Ranges will be taller in the middle and taper off into smaller and less frequent mountains at the ends and the edges. You'll notice a couple of separated foothills in the far north. Step 3 is rivers. The rivers should generally start in the mountains and end at the coast. It's also much more common for rivers to merge than for one river to split into multiple rivers. Now we'll start placing in towns. Towns ought to be built mostly on rivers, where the inhabitants would congregate for fresh water. So first off, we have the town of Highwater. The river here is a combination of lots of headwaters, so it would be a large river with a lot of riverboat access inland. Highwater would be the largest metropolis in this area. Next is Goat Creek, and I imagine the backstory of this being a settlement granted the right to build by the king in Highwater. But they got lost, they didn't survey the area correctly, and they built the town of Goat Creek on Blue River, instead of on the banks of the river Goat Creek as instructed. The inhabitants dug in their heels and mustered a militia when told to pick up roots and move where they were supposed to, and they still insist on calling Blue River Goat Creek, which can be confusing for visitors. Somderung is a dwarven city against the mountains in the north, and Farvungen is a dwarven farming town nearby. A dwarf port was built by humans as a way to open up trade with this dwarven territory. Rosetop is a human town on the edge of elven territory, and I like to think it'd be widely considered one of the most beautiful towns in the world. Alessador is an elven town and acts as the elves' kind of portal to the world. Elves see adventure, half-elves see a place where they can be accepted, and the trade guilds of Highwater see a lucrative trade in exotic elven goods. So there's an island chain in the south that makes large ship transit dangerous, and sailing around the chain is time prohibitive. So Lar Town was built as a transit to the southern coast trade. It's a desert town with few natural resources, and trade is really the only thing keeping food and water available to the inhabitants here. Straightwater is a human settlement built on the banks of a river that, strangely, runs in almost a straight line from Copper Lake to the coast. They named the river after how weird this natural phenomenon was, and they named the town after the river. Welrod is a gnomish city, well away from the trade wars of the mainland. I like to think that while I know where it is, the location of this city of steam-powered wonders has long been forgotten by the other people in this world. Maybe a plot hook? Goodbridge named their city after the bridge built in the city center. With one good bridge, the dissociated farming homesteads had a central meeting place that only grew over time. Daralindel is an elven enclave secreted away in the deep forest. Some in Alessador know the location of the hidden city, but they keep it closely guarded. So with our cities set up and established and some backstory given to them, we'll go through and mark the forests. Then we'll use this tan to make some coasts and some desert areas. Here in the northeast, you'll see a high elevation desert. The thin air and dry ground make it a harsh land where tieflings, gnolls, and other monstrous races live a nomadic, warlike existence. There's going to be some other patches of desert and some plains drawn in this light green. Obviously, the further a place is from rivers, the less green it is, on account of how plants need water and whatnot. So now we'll just color in the mountains. We'll go ahead and color in these town boxes in white so we can pick out the towns pretty easily. And then we'll color the ocean blue. Do a little bit of shading texture. And go back in to finish coloring and labeling Copper Lake because I didn't finish it in order and just realized at the end that, oh, Copper Lake is left. I'll get that. So with all of that pulled together, we now have a world with some history and some geography that we can build a story into. So I hope you liked this video, and I hope this lets you make some maps for yourself. If you make a map and feel like putting the results online, put a link in the comments. I'd love to check it out. If you enjoyed the video, you can like, comment, and subscribe, but more than any of that, you can tell a friend. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.